What happened? All right. Good evening. Hi, y'all. Good evening. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. One of my phones is glitching, so, but it won't be glitching after the day, because I'm going to go get me a new phone. But anyway, good evening. Hi, I hope everyone is doing well. I'm always running, always back and forth, but I thank God for grace. Let us take a moment for the suffering addicts inside and outside of these walls. All right. To all the recovering addicts and to the ones that's struggling. You have to let go. You have to let go. You have to find a way to get to a meeting or find a way to let God in, the God of our understanding in. And I thank y'all. Let me give a shout out. Shout out to the ones. Happy Father's Day to every one of you. God bless you. You might not be the best fathers, but you are present fathers, as someone said today. And I thank God. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And may you have many blessings upon you. Shout out to the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program. I thank God that he found a way to get our attention, and I thank God that he has brought us this far. And I am forever grateful to you all. Thank y'all for coming on this site. Thank God for allowing me to be a blessing to you. We are on step 9, but before I do that, I want to give a shout out to all the counselors and the therapists for the work that you do to help us understand this disease of an addiction. This disease of an addiction will take you to many different planets, and them planets is not good when this addiction step in. This is a disease, and we have to treat it like it's a disease. And long as we don't use no matter what, we are good. You hear me say that? Let me hear myself say that again. Long as we don't use, we are good. Just for today. We are wanted to give a shout out to the ones that lost their loved ones to addiction, lost overdose, but we must continue to move on. God has a purpose for us, and he is working with us, and we are doing the things that we need to do to stay clean. And I thank you, God. We are on step 9. Step 9 says we made direct amends. Now, y'all listen to this real good, because this is a deep step. We made direct amends to such peoples whenever possible, and except when to do so would injure them or others. This is a good step. This step right here, when this step comes in, never in a million years could we sit down to everyone that we had harmed or hurt. We just can't do it. We can do it indirect, or we can do it indirect. Let me get started. I just been running, and so this one says we made the recommends. Come on, the God of my understanding. We made direct amends to such peoples. I'm going to stop there. to such people. We can't make amends to everybody we had harmed or we had did something to. Admitting our own limitations if we haven't worked all of the other steps. See, I like this. We couldn't have even got this far if we hadn't worked the other steps. Now, you can believe me or take it as my word. We could not have did this step unless we worked the other steps before step 9. This step should never be overlooked at all, because this step has a lot to do with healing, admitting, don't ever overlook this step, because I tried to do that because I did not want to do and make amends. I really wasn't sure I wanted to admit to people that I had caused harm, and I knew I couldn't make amends to them all. Hey, Lily, I know, how you doing, baby? I knew I couldn't make amends to them all. I knew that, and I found myself struggling with this step, because this step speaks value to your life. It's going to free you from guilt and shame, misunderstood. It's going to free you from so many different things. We make amends to the best of our abilities. It's going to pull whatever it needs to be pulled so we can free ourselves. Make amends when the opportunity is present. We only can make amends when it's present for us to make amends to. We need to be free of our guilt. That's what this whole step is about. It says we may direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them and others. You got to be careful with this step. I realized working this step that I couldn't bring in a third party, because you don't want to cause nobody else no harm. That's why they say that you have to work with your sponsor to see which is the best way to make amends to such people, because such people is different. Such people is still holding on to bitterness and anger because of our actions. And I had to understand that everybody wasn't going to be forgiven. Everybody wasn't going to forgive me for the things that I had created and done to hurt them. Not even talking about them. Let's talk about us. How we had to make amends to ourselves. I know I did. I don't know about anybody else, but I know I did. Had to make amends to myself first. I had to sit down. I had to analyze things, how I messed up relationships, family, messed up them peoples in the family, relationships, and friends. This step was for me to free me from my guilt, my shame. I see my auntie Wanda is on here. Good to see you, auntie. We need to be free of our guilt. Doing this step can hurt or injure others. So we have to be mindful while we work in this step. And remember, this step is all about us. If you can go through life, we done broke bridges and hurt ourselves and hurt other peoples, and now it's time for us to make amends. We got to know how to make them amends. That's why I had to use my sponsor for that, because I tried to tell you through my other broadcast that when I tried to make amends, I messed up everything. I did self-will. I tried to go to people's on my own way, and boy, was I disappointed. Was I disappointed that people threw water on me, one threw a keychain on me, one threatened my life, because I'm feeling good now. I'm working the steps. I'm apologizing to you, and you still hold a resentment. You know, because I got clean, I thought everybody should respect that I'm coming to you to make us amends. Bad way the way I started doing it. The bad way the way I started doing it. An unsolved conflict may exist. This is what I mean. See, the peoples we hurt and the ones we kind of damage along the way, they still is feeling some kind of way because we never resolved it. You know, and then all of a sudden years later, you know, I come to the fact that I need to work this step. You know, and I told y'all before, when you make this step is going to do something mighty powerful for you. It's going to free you. It's going to make you feel like you can conquer the world because you done got all that weight lifted off of you. We damage relationships and sometimes unwilling to go. People that we mess with and broke relationships, they still holding on to bitterness. Don't get it twisted. We are doing this for ourselves. That's what I'm telling you. Don't get it twisted that things ain't going to go the way you think it going to go, because it's not for them. It's really for us. It's really to let go and to be honest and to free ourselves from the shame, the guilt, and everything that comes along with that. You know, and I understand that. Now I do. Feeling guilty and remorseful, we get some freedom from. Remorseful. What do you mean remorseful? Remorseful is, you know, I feel real bad. You know, I'm not high. You know, I can think better. I'm seeing clearly, working the other steps. You got 1 to 8 that I have worked on tremendously. And I still, when you get to this step, you're going to feel some guilt, some shame. You're going to be remorseful because you don't like what you have become. You don't like how you treated people. You don't like how you treated yourself. We don't like our behaviors and our attitudes that got us to do the things that we done. Simple. We don't like that. I'm feeling relieved a little bit because I'm doing the 9th step, you know, and my sponsor is showing me the right way to do these steps, because it depends on how you hurt this person, or depends on, did you cause body harm to this person due to your addiction? Due to your addiction has caused many of us, tell her to come here. Many of us, excuse me, my phone, like I said, my phone is glitching, and on one of my other phones, and it's getting on my nerves. So when I get through with you all, I'm going to get me a different phone, because I know something is wrong with this phone. So it says, our action that brought us and caused our negative attitude. See, people think, let me get real. People think that the 9th step is about the next person. But the 9th step is really about freeing ourselves, you know, and get ready to accept the ones that still holding bitterness or unforgiving and not letting go, you know, because it's not for them. It's for us to free ourselves for what we know we had done through the years. And there's no way that we're going to be able to sit down and go to everyone that we at heart. It's a time frame with this step. It's a time frame, and it's a frame of time which we are going to admit to somebody that we had hurt deeply. Sometimes the people that we had hurt and we have did harm to, we continue to get high because we don't want to even deal with that. Our guilt and our anger. We owe this to ourselves. I tell people, I owe this to me. You owe that to you, to forgive people. And you can't mistreat people, even not being high. But boy, we mistreated a lot of people's being high. On our self-will, the way we act, our behavior, So I had to learn a lot of stuff about, a lot of things about this step. But this step helped me not to hold on too long. Some of us, we are still, after working the steps, we'll still learn how to let go. But it's a time frame. We ain't going to do it all at once. And don't let nobody tell you are. Because we work the steps 1 through 8. That means we reviving ourselves. We restoring ourselves. God has lifted some guilt and some shame off of us for us to go into the 9th step and be able to be honest and start asking people for forgiveness. And it's a thing that, that weighed me down. I don't know about anybody else. Hey, Robin, good to see you, baby. God bless you. She just lost her mother a day ago, I think it was yesterday, and I'm praying for you, baby, for strength and stay focused and y'all continue to pray for Robin, for me, because she is faithfully working her recovery. And for that, I know God is grateful, and so am I. So we had to come in this with the unknown. See, this step right here, I told y'all before, I did not like this step. I did not want to do, because this step was going to make me work on my thoughts, my behavior, my attitude. I'm already working on it from 1 to 8. So now I get to this step, and I told you I tried to do this step 9 by myself, and boy, did I messed up. People threw water. I messed up. That's what they tell you. You need a sponsor to come in and go over why you making amends to this person. Why would you need to make amends? What did you do to this person? And your sponsor can guide you. And I didn't do it that way. I tried to do it my way. Hey, Michelle. I tried to do it my way. Hey, Laquita. I tried to do it my way. And my way was failing me in the midst of the 9th step. Because I wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it and say it the way I wanted to say it. And boy, did it not work in my favor until I worked it with my sponsor. So anybody who on this 9th step, our guilt and anger, we owe this to ourselves. Laquita, Esther, hey, good to see you, baby. My phone is acting crazy, so if I don't call your name, just give me a minute, because I'm so glad that you decided to come here and be with me on this hour, and I thank you for that. But this phone is acting crazy. But anyway, the only amend we can make is staying clean. That's the first one. That's the first one. Remember I told you we have to make amends to ourselves. And the only one that I know that works for us is to make amends to ourselves. And I think by the time you get on, by the time you get on the 9th step, you have really worked on yourself and you have looked at yourself, and now you understand this big step is all about the mess up and confusion and the hurt that you have caused another individual other than yourself. We have to always include ourselves because we messed up. Happy Father's Day to you all again. They might not be the best fathers, but they are present fathers. So happy Father's Day to you all again. And I had to understand this step. This step was all about me. And how to control making my amends to people that I had caused harm to and hurt to. And boy, I'm telling you, I wasn't in no good way working this step, because this step, I had to sit down and make amends and write down and make amends. And the more I wrote down is the more that I saw, the more I was so remorseful. I was in a bad shape, because now this step is going to bring back everything that you've done to somebody, or even the ones you try not to remember, but working this step, you're going to bring it on. I had to make amends to my mother. I had to make amends to my sister and brother. I had to make amends to some of my best friends, and some of them didn't forgive me, and some of them still bitter. Because we get clean and because we working on ourselves, don't mean, they understand, because most of them that I had to make amends to wasn't addicts. I used them. I used them for my own self-will, and they wasn't recovering addicts, so they don't know the steps that we have to take to get better. It don't even phase them, but some people, I know, like my mother, she accepted my amends. She was proud of me that I got clean. And my kids was proud of me that I got clean. But I wasn't proud to make an amends, because I knew I had hurt. I knew I had hurt somebody. So I wouldn't tell her to come here. I wasn't sure about this step. I really wasn't sure about this step. This step had took me to an atmosphere in my life that I did not like the feeling of it. I did not like, as I was writing, as I was doing writing and going through my thing. Hey, Lucretia, I see you. I can't see the rest of people's because of the phone. But I know a God of my understanding has patience with me, because he know I was going to go, and he know we was going to go through some things with this step. He knew we was going to go through some changes with the step. And this is for the ones who have worked the step. Some of y'all ain't got to step 9 yet. Some of y'all don't even know how to do this step. But I can only come on here and tell you what I kind of know about the step, and relate to how God has treated me working these steps. And he's never have left me. He have restored. He'll restore you. He'll let you know that you're forgiven. And now it's time for you to forgive yourself. When we make amends to ourselves, to restore us to sanity. Part of sanity is effectively relating to others. See, this step is about how we relate to other peoples. How we got to tell them in a special way, because everybody is different. You got some friends, come on, Renee, you got some friends that's hardcore. You got some friends that's compassionate. You got some friends just don't give a doggone. You got some friends be willing with open arms to forgive you. And it depends on your friends or your family members, how they relate to you, and you know how each friend is. That's why I understand when they said that we had to get a sponsor to help us with this step. Because one time I went to go, I owed this lady some money, and I paid her $500, but I owed her much more than that. And when I met her at the restaurant, she didn't care about me being recovered. She wasn't no addict. And she threw keys and she threw some water like she wanted to jump on me. And I got in the car and I'm like, well, what went wrong? I'm talking to myself, what went wrong with making amends? I called her, asked her to meet me, wanted to make amends. And this on my self-will. This on a will that I have. This is my self-will because I didn't use my sponsor. I hadn't let my sponsor know. Me and her hadn't sat down and went over how to make amends to certain peoples and what I'm making amends for. And I sat in the car, and I hated to call my sponsor because I knew she was going to check me, because see, I went on self-will. I didn't do what was suggested to me. I didn't do what the book said do, that you need help with your sponsor to work these steps, especially step 9. Come on now. Step 9 we definitely need. That's why they bring up, having your sponsor look over and work with you with this step. But I messed up, and I got in the car and I was hurt because I was really making amends from the total part of my heart, and she wasn't buying it. I gave her some money. I didn't give her all of it, and she was still bitter and angry and mad at me because she didn't see and she didn't care about what it took to lower myself and to make a phone call. And, a part of me was kind of scared because I know she was one of the friends that was hardcore, and to have her hurt me like that, it took me back to how I had hurt people's. I went to her with a sincere heart, because she was a hardcore person, but she was also my friend. And sometimes when we have friends, we have to accept each one of our friends how they are. And it's up to us to see if we want to stay friends and continue to be a part of their lives, and that's, accepting people for who they are. And I had a lot of friends that I accepted who they are. I had friends that, that I call happy, and them was my best friends. The ones that go with women's and go with men's, they were my best friends. I don't care what nobody say. They're the best friend you can have, because I don't judge who you love, and I ain't finna judge who you are. And I had got to that point in my life not to be judgmental, because people judge me, but God forgave me. And so that put me on a whole different path in my life, that if he could forgive us for the wrongs we have done, then why can't we forgive ourselves? And then why can't we forgive other people's? Hey, Latrice, why can't we? Why can't we take that turn and learn how to forgive somebody else? But see, my thing was, once I became clean and well-minded and free from the drugs, I still was holding on to some hurt, and don't think because you get clean that you can't be hurt again, and you'll find yourself bringing up an old habit of not wanting to forgive somebody, not holding on. I heard something today that hit home for me. I'm still, sometimes we can be clean and we still holding on to things because of betrayal or denial or because we was hurt. And, for the person that's hurting, or the person that is treated us and denying us, but they can still walk with a conscience, because they not working the steps. They ain't working those steps. And I had to realize everybody ain't going to be, my expectation on what everybody is has to be different now, because I have to learn to be honest to myself at all times. So this step right here was very powerful for me. And I went through some changes with this step. I cried a lot through this step because it made me look at the inside of who I had become. And I ain't just the only one. All you ones that's been an addict and that's clean, that had, and I'll tell you something else. This step is about the wreckage of your past has come to the present. What that mean? That means everything I've done working this step, it's going to come back to the present because I had to do a 9th step. That's exactly what it means. So the wreckage of my past of what I've done and who I hurt, the wreckage of your past of what you have done and who you hurt, and how you had broken relationships, and how you didn't get along with your mother, or you didn't get along with your father, or your kids and is all over the place with you because of your act of using. So this step gonna send you to a lot of places, and I'm telling you, think I'm lying, try the step. And the step, if you be really honest with yourself and get back into the wreckage of your past, the wreckage of your past got to come back to the present, because you got to go back and make amends to the people you have hurt and done harm to. You know, it's just a deep step, you know, and when I got to this step, I was confused. And I'm like, well, what about the people that's dead? Do I make amends to the people that's dead? What if I never see the people that I need to make amends to? And that's why I say in a million years, you can never make amends to everybody that you can hurt. And sometimes, let me check this out. Sometimes we can be just going by our daily business, and all of a sudden we'll come and we'll see a person right off the bat who we had harmed and hurt. And do I make amends to them then? You know, yeah, I had to. That happened. After 4 or 5 years, I walked in and I was going to the store and I saw a person that I hurt really deeply, a woman or a man, it don't matter. And I had to stand in the middle of a store and make amends. I mean, tears was coming out my eyes because this one person that I really wanted to see that I hadn't yet made amends to, one day out of the blue shows up directly walking right past me. And I took that moment. And asked him, could I really talk to him? And he gave me that minute. We went off to the side, and I told him, and I had tears in my eye because this person was really good to me. This person didn't let me go without nothing. But, you know, when hurt people's, it's because we are really hurt. We lost our identity. We don't understand why we continue to get high. We don't understand why we continue to burn down bridges. We just didn't understand the disease of an addiction is so powerful. And that's what they mean, that baffling. You know, we just do things on the spur of a moment, that impulse, wanted one more, wanted to get high. That's all that matters to us, to me, to you. That's all that matters. When we up under the influence of an addiction, all that matters is we get one more. They say one is too much and 1,000 is never enough. And that's true. In my case, it was true. In my case, the more I got, the more I wanted, and I was never going to reach the high that I did when I first hit the pipe. I was never going to reach that no more. After I got high that first time, the rest of my life was just chasing, trying to get that high, trying to get that same fix that I got when I first hit that pipe, first hit that joint with weed on it. I couldn't get there. No matter how much I tried to get that same feeling, it was never the same. And the only thing it did was cause chaos to my life and brought pain into my life and brought misunderstanding into my life. I could not accept that I could not stop using, so I kept using. Man, addiction is real. And you can get caught up in a minute so quick, and before you know it, one day I just happened to smoke a weed with some on it, and I was chasing him from then on. I didn't ask for you to put no cocaine in my weed, but you did. And I didn't know you did, and from then on, my life was never the same, you know. And I hated him for that. And this step helped me make amends even to the peoples that I hated or the peoples that I hurted. You know, it ain't just about who you hurt; it's about who you remain to keep in your mind that you hated them, that you didn't love them no more. You know, and so this step helped me with all that, not just making amends because I hurt you. I need to make amends because I hated you. I need to make amends that I never wanted and vowed never to see you again. I need to make some amends on that one. On that one. I see my sister, Evangelist Selena Green, is on here. Hey, sis. I needed to make some amends. And it wasn't just about who I hurt. It was about who I carried so long because you hurted me, or because of how I hated you. Yeah, don't think you can go through life not hating somebody. People say, oh, I ain't never hated nobody. Well, I did. And you ain't me. I did. I walked around hated people to the core. Because some people had hurt me deeply and bad and scarred my life up. So don't tell me that you cannot carry resentments and hate somebody for doing some things to you that just wasn't normal. Shouldn't have never happened. So this step helped me with that too. Because I had, even working the steps from the first through the 8th step, and I freed myself from drugs. I know I can't use drugs. We know we can't use no matter what crisis we go through, no matter who we lose. And believe me, everybody on here done lost somebody, but did you get high from it? Everybody on here that hated somebody, but did you get cured from it? I had to ask myself these questions because this had been a part of my disease for a while. Carrying resentments, carrying hate, carrying unsatisfaction for me to forgive another human being. And you know what I love about the God of my understanding? That out of all the stuff we done, out of all the peoples we hurt, out of all the lives we had helped destroy, He still forgave us. And why do I want to sit up here and hate? Yeah, I hated some peoples. And if you ain't never been there, don't get there. If you ain't never walked around and hated somebody, all you could think about is how they hurt you, please don't get there. Because it will destroy the biggest part of you, and that's the joy. It would take the joy from you. And what I learned about this step, it restored me to some sanity. I like this step. It restored me to some sanity where I can sit down and make amends, where I can think about the wreckage of my past or what I had created from the past. And now I got to identify again what part I played in. I got to, in order to recover. In order to heal, in order to restore, I got to recover. Man, this is a powerful step because I didn't think this step could help me as much as it did, and it still helps me today. It still helps me today. I try not to care. I don't try not to carry resentments, but I can carry hurt a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I can carry hurt a little bit. How people can do that. I have to realize I was them same people. I created hurt. I knew what hurt was all about because I lived in hurt. I got high living in the hurt. So can't nobody tell me that I have not been restored to sanity. It took a lot for me to get here, but it don't matter how long it takes, as long as you get there. As long as you get there. That's what matters. When before I got clean, and still when I got clean, I still often viewed people as a threat. And I didn't understand that. And I had to talk to my sponsor about that. As a threat. Why? Why is that person a threat? It's because I'm still feeling some kind of way. And I had to work on that too. Now I don't feel no threat from nobody. It took a long, I love this step 9 because when you go back and visit the records of your past and you see how long and many years that you carried all that hate and how you use people for your own satisfaction. and how you came to a part to lie to get a drug of choice. Now, people will say, well, I ain't never did it. God bless you. For real, I wouldn't wish this on nobody. And that's why I get on here. That's why I stay on here for them 2 days out of a week, because it's helping peoples. You know, it might not help you. It might not help him or her, but it's helping somebody, because as a result of it, people is getting their lives changed. I've had several people to get in treatment and is in inpatient, and it's working their way to get out so they can come and get an outpatient. So it might not work for you, then pass this. This ain't for you. This ain't for you. But if it is for you and it can help you in any kind of way, because you have to understand that it wasn't just about the drug. The drug is only 10%. And that ain't much. The drug was 10%, and our behaviors and our attitudes and is 90% of the problem. So what do that tell me? That's why I'm sitting here making amends, because 90% of me did all of this. It wasn't on the drug is a disease that we put in us. Any drug substance, any chemicals that we put in us, that's only 10%, because our behavior acts off the drug. You know, we become a real not nice of a person when we on the drugs. You know, you can walk out there now in this world that we living in, and you can see how, you know, peoples is on the street. You know, they own that fentanyl, they own that stuff, and you know, they high and they on the ground and they twisting. Or you can see an alcoholic just drunk, pissed on himself, walking the street begging for money. Yeah, hey, I never laugh again. I ain't never laughed over 3 decades. I'll never laugh again, because there go I. And every person I've seen on the street that looked funny, that people laugh at, that was me. That was y'all too. That was y'all too. But some people think they don't have a problem. Some people are so in denial it ain't funny. But I have to always keep the focus on me. Admitting our guilt helps others. You know, one thing else I learned about this is what I really learned about this step. Admitting our guilt to the ones we hurt or harm, and to others. Help them with their anger. What that mean, Renee? That means some of the people that I went to and I talked to, you know, they was mad at me. They had a lot of anger towards me. And, you know, I had burnt a lot of bridges that I once crossed over. And when I got to the point of admitting, you know, my guilt and my shame and how remorseful I was to them certain people, do you know they were slow to anger? They was like forgiving. You know, because I know some of the people that I went to, they would be quick to cuss me out and go off. But you know what? They didn't. So I understand when I get to this step, it says admitting our guilt helps others with their anger. And people think that's not true. Try it. You know, when you go to a person with a whole heart and you telling them that you making amends and how sorry you are, and you know this person gonna cuss you out, you know this person is having worked on themselves, but then you find out this step helped not only you, it helped them too, because they was slow to anger. They were slow not to anger, and that was a good step for me. And I understand that this step has also helped me to understand. It works. This step works, and I know this step works, and I can understand how people can get caught up in the midst of being clean and caught up, Savannah, and people can understand that, you know, sometimes in our hurt, stop disappearing until it start working right. it's stuck. It's been stuck for the last minute on the other phone. But anyway, I had got to a point to where I realized, man, when I went to other people's and asked them how hurt I was, or told them how hurt I was, you know, it helped them too. And that's funny because, you know, you wouldn't think that helped them too. So I found a way, go in and go out on that one. I found a way that God has restored us to some sanity, and it ain't moving. God has restored us to sanity, and had brought me a long ways. I don't care, go out and come back in. So I found a new way to live and make amends, that I can do things that I didn't think we can. Y'all can do things that you think that you can't do. It all has a purpose for us. It all has a door to be open that has once been closed. So you have to remain fruitful. You have to remain faithful. You know, because when I came in this step, it was the unknown step. I didn't know what was going to work for me, and what was it going to ever work for me. But guess what? It did. It helped me gain some confidence. It helped me understand that I am worthy. It helped you understand that your present from the God of our understanding is on you. You know, we didn't go through all the wreckage of our past and then come into the present to get clean and not be looked at as a person with a sincere heart. Because most addicts who go through things, most of us that went through things, we came out to be better people. We came out to be better peoples, and I've learned the time in my life that, you know, I heard somebody say today, well, I ain't never used and I don't plan on using. Did you think we want to? Some of us was trapped. Some of us, it was introduced to us. Some of us was trapped in a way that we didn't even see coming. You know, that was me. Now, that might not happen to you, but the guy trapped me when he put cocaine on in the weed. And I was a weed head for real. I woke up with it, went to bed with it, used it all day long. But I didn't ask for that drug of choice. But when you're doing one thing, I'm going to tell you something. It will sure take you to something else. It will take you to this drug, to that drug. Just so you know, some of us is in depression, some of us anxiety, some of us just don't like being by ourselves, some of us, you know, don't like being alone. But see, when I got clean, yeah, I was okay being alone, because I could finally identify how it feels to get peace. See, you can chase peace and you won't get it. You got to live peace. You got to have peace in your life. And this helped me to understand that I had gained my peace. And I was chasing, you cannot chase peace. And I was finding myself chasing something that I wasn't going to get until I lived in peace. You know, so I had to understand of that. And I understand that admitting our guilt helps others with their anger. And that helped me. You know, we approach those we have harmed with humility and patience. And that says a lot for this step, because you got to have some humility and some patience to go to somebody and ask somebody for forgiveness, or write a letter. You can get that You can get that humility and patience just writing a letter because you know who you finna give it to. I asked the question, could I make amends to people that's dead? And I say yes. I don't know about what y'all do, but I made amends to 4 people that was dead that I knew I had hurt, and I didn't get a chance to say I was sorry. Yeah, I knew that. And so I done that. Yes, I can. I wrote a letter and stood in front of a pastor and wrote a letter if that person was there and he was a witness, and that was my amends. That's the way I did it. That's the way it worked for me. So I wouldn't have to carry the people that was dead and let it be an unsolved amend for me. So I did what they told me to do. So you have humility and patience when you work in this step. I've seen many miracles since we have become clean. And what do you mean? I mean many miracles. You know, and I say that with all sincere because when I was clean, I didn't have a chance to pay attention to the miracles that I had seen. Hey, Stella, my phone is acting crazy, but how you doing? Let me tell you something about this 9th step. I mean, it's a good step for today because this 9th step have taught me humility, patience, understanding, forgiveness, love, acceptance. You know, it have taught me all that in one step. And restore and sanity, all that is in this one step. This is a powerful step, y'all. I mean, this step is very powerful when you work that step because it's going to bring out the best in you. It's going to renew you. It's going to free you from your guilt, your shame, and all the stuff that comes with it. So I thank God for the miracles I've seen, and the miracles within myself is that I learned how not to pick up. That's a miracle, because when I used to pick up every day or every chance I got when I had some money, I can't pick it up no more. That's a miracle for me. No matter what, how I'm feeling, I gotta go through whatever I gotta go through to feel. I gotta feel it on my own. So I understand that. I understand all that now. I've seen many miracles. I've seen people go to school. I've seen people to stop using drugs and go to school and get their lives together. I've seen people get out of prison and get out of jail and turn their life around to help other people. You know, they found their purpose in jail. They found their purpose laying on their bed of affliction. You know, so I understand all that. I understand I got to do what I got to do to not use ever again. And I hate this disease. I've seen many miracles. And we got more to come. You got more miracles to come long as you stay clean. Eventually, it gets easier. And that's what I learned about this step. Eventually, it got easy for me. We are achieving freedom. And we have found the wreckage of our past to deal with. You know, we thought we'd never find the wreckage of our past being comfort for us because we did so much. But I found comfort in the wreckage of my past because I had to identify the wreckage of my past to deal with some amends from my past. And now I ain't got to worry about the fears and the expectation. I've been surrendering and the shame and guilt and bitterness. I ain't got to hold on to that no more. This 9th step will prove and it will show evidence. This 9th step will show you evidence. And it showed up. It showed me some evidence. It showed me that I wasn't nothing that I had recreated in my head that I was. I'm a nobody. I'm a failure. I'm drug addicted. You know, I'm a mess. I can't work. I can't figure out nothing. You know, I can't do nothing right. All that's wrong. You got to go through all that in that addiction because you have to remember that addiction became a part of your behavior. And your behavior is 90% of what you become. It's only 10% of the drug. And you will never get the same high that you got when you first started doing it. So you will be chasing a lie. I chased a lie for many years, thinking I was going to get that one feeling that I got when I first was introduced, and I had nothing to do with it. And first got introduced to crack cocaine on some weed. He had slipped some cocaine on it, and I was chasing something that never was going to ever be the same, because it's never the same with the first hit, or the first pill, or the first needle. It ain't gonna never be the same. So we chasing a dream that is not a dream. It's the enemy. We can choose peace. We can choose peace. Hey, Raphael, my phone acting up, y'all, so you know I'm finna go get a different one. As soon as I get, hey, you can choose peace. Or you can choose darkness. Because that's what I was in when I was doing drugs and alcohol. I was in darkness. I mean, every day, 365 times a day. I was in so much denial. I was the best at it. I knew how to deny. But honey, freedom came from this step. And when you do this 9 step, some of y'all think y'all can't do it, but I guarantee you, I was once y'all. You can do this step. You can free yourself from this step. You don't have to be like that. You don't have to carry that. You don't have to think of that. You become a person that want more, because you know what sabotage is. You know, we sabotaged ourselves. And 90% of us is the behavior. And 10% is the drug. We all want to blame it on the drug, but it's 90% of our behavior. The drug just make it worse. The drug make us do some things that I thought I could never address and tell somebody that I done. I done some things, y'all. And if that God of my understanding can forgive me, I don't care if nobody else forgive me. My main concern is that the God of my understanding forgive me, and the people that I made amends to, if they don't forgive me, okay. It was for me to forgive me and take that chance on you forgiving me. But if you don't forgive me, then you want to hold on to it. Then that means you're going to become just like I was, sitting on a rock, holding a rock in my hand and staying heavy because I could not forgive nobody. Straight up. You got to learn to forgive a person. You can't act like you the goody good two shoes and you ain't never made a mistake. You ain't going to have to make some amends. You ain't going to have to ask for forgiveness. Now, if you get in a place in your life that you like that, you don't have a life. Straight up. You don't have a life. You got to learn how to forgive, and you got to learn how to let go. You got to learn how to be able to speak. If you never speak again, you got to learn how to speak to people that you don't understand. You know, I just on working with your sponsor to see and decide what's best for me. My sponsor helped me, and she's still helping me. You know, I'm so blessed because I got the same sponsor. I didn't have but one sponsor in 36 years. I ain't had but one sponsor, you know, in 36 years. Well, it's 35, it's going on 36. But I didn't have but one sponsor. I ain't had to, you know why? You know why I didn't have but one sponsor? Because I picked and choose for a whole year to find the special sponsor for me. I didn't just get up like everybody else. I want this person. She got all them people. I want this person. He got all them people. He good. Yeah, but a good person can only handle so many sponsees. So I learned how to pick, sit there, cotton in my mouth, listen, and wait on God to show me who my sponsor was. And see, once you wait on God for anything, it's going to turn out just right. It ain't going to have no failures. It ain't going to have no limitations. Everything you wait on God to do, and that's what he did. And I got my same sponsor. Almost 36 years later, she's still my sponsor. And I thank God for that. You know, it says, and then it says, we owe amends losing our job. And I want to talk about that. You know, some people's old people's in their jobs that they hurt it and didn't do right. So you have to make amends when it comes to your job place. Or when you was in jail, you hurt people, or your mother, or your father, or your sisters and brothers. We got a lot of making amends to, because we burnt a lot of bridges, and I know I did. I ain't got to tell nobody. I know I burnt bridges. I just always thought I would die and go to hell. But then I made a choice one day. I asked God to renew me. I asked God to come into my life. I asked God to help me what to do. The God of my understanding, I asked him, God, please, if you the man that everybody say you are, and I've been looking up to you, even in my using, even in my getting high, come on and help me, because I'm falling short. I keep getting high after I tell myself I'm never going to use again, and I kept using. And thank God for a yellow page book. And y'all know my story. If you go back on my thing, I had a yellow page that been sitting in my house over 10 years. Never looked it up, never looked at it. All I did was dust it off and kept going. But that little yellow page came in handy when I made the first turn, and it told me to go to Northwest General Hospital on Capitol. Boy, I thank God. God he's a way maker. He can be the operator in your life. He can drive, and when he drives, you won't make no wrong turns. We make bad decisions sometimes. That means we don't get perfect when we get clean. We just get better. But we ain't perfect. Ain't nobody perfect. And don't ever think that somebody perfect. The God of my understanding is the only person that I know that's perfect. And if I'm wrong on that, then I'll just be wrong. Because he had never hurt me, never deceived you. He'll never leave you. He'll always be there. He can be your doctor. He can be whatever you need him to be. But he was my forgiveness. He helped me to learn how to forgive. Hey, Cynthia, good to see you. He helped me learn how to forgive. In this world and time, I had to learn how to get them tons of pounds of weight off of me so I can learn how to go through this step, and even with the fears and the expectation and the shame and the guilt, even the bitterness I was holding on to some things for some people, I had to endure that. God had to get on me. He had to get on me, because I can remember when I was a praying addict getting high, and I was asking God, please deliver me. And that's double standard. I'm getting high, but I'm asking God to deliver me. Every time I get high, I was a praying addict. I didn't understand that. I thought I was crazy, but it wasn't crazy. It was really keeping a little bit of sincere in me. That's what it done. A praying addict. Double standard. You're getting high, but you're praying to God because you feel like you're going to die and you need God to help you in some kind of way. But what I realized, that God couldn't do all the work. I had to get up and I had to take accountability. I had to understand that, I ain't right always. I had to understand that I can be wrong. I had to understand that I'm not a failure. I had to understand that you tried to tear me down along with my using. But God saw fit for me to see a purpose in my life to keep on moving on no matter what. I know I can't use this disease of an addiction. Is going to be a life thing for me because I'm one hit away at any given time. So I'm never going to use again. That's a promise I made, and that's a promise I kept because I'm scared of God, because I fear God. If I let God down after I made these promises all these years, I'm in great trouble. I'm in great trouble. So I had to tell and build myself up to make God a promise that I have not yet broken. No matter, I done buried a mother, I done buried a child, I done buried my boyfriend, I done buried a husband. So can't nobody tell me that I haven't learned from step 9. Making amends and how to forgive myself and understand that, I ain't perfect, but I'm better than what we used to. We get better. We don't understand why things happen to us, but I'm going to tell you something. If you sit down and you don't understand why you still in that situation, if you don't understand why this has happened, you sit your butt down and you ask God to tired working on you and showing you what's wrong. And he will. I promise you will. In all my ways, in all my days, I ask God when I get trouble, when I'm going through with something, God, help me with this. Because this has been a part of my... See, some things that you still dealing with now is a part of your record of your past. But today you're working it different. You ain't using. And you ain't got to use. No matter what happens. No matter who God take out your life. No matter who passes. No matter who hurt you. No matter who's still hurting you. All you got to do is sit down and trust the God of your understanding. And he going to work it out. And if you think I'm lying, I always say this because it's a truth to my word. If you think I'm lying, then try it. You try and see what happens. I made amends to people that's dead. I made amends to people that I didn't know or never seen again. I made amends face to face to people that I really wanted to make amends to. And for that, I am grateful because you can make amends indirect or direct. And indirect or indirect. So that means you can make amends to a person you ain't never, that's dead and gone and you won't see no more. But you can still make that amends because that's a part of your ninth step. So don't let nobody tell you can't make amends to people that's dead. You go to your sponsor like I did, and she told me the way to get that weight and stuff off my shoulders because you can still carry the dead around with you because I had to make a lot of amends to my mother when she passed. And I was okay with that, writing letters, but I was really okay with making amends while she was living. But I still had some amends that I did not accept yet. And I thank God that I made the amends because that hurted me. That helped me to understand, how it works. I understand that God is a loving God, and I understand that I came too far to turn around. And I understand this ninth step saved me. And it didn't just save me. It helped cure me. It helped understand that the 90% of behaviors of what I've done and the drug is 10%. So what do that mean? Which one? 90% is more. 10% is less. So the drug was only 10%, and my behavior and my attitude and my character and my self-will was 90%. So who you gonna blame it on? Addiction is addiction. And many people have other addictions other than drugs. So don't let nobody tell you, oh, my addiction was just drugs. No, it wasn't. Your addiction was your behavior. Your addiction is how you lied to get another hit of a drug. My addiction was thinking. I had a thinking or overthinking addiction. I can overthink. I had an addiction where I just didn't think nothing is, I was right about everything. Some people think they're right about everything. Some people's come to you different than other people. Because see, other people don't know about how to work a step. This step is for everybody. But so happen it's for the NA. It's for the 12-step program. And I love it because it helped me with all my addictions. And I had many. But the one that I know that is no cure for is drug addiction. And the only cure that I could find out that works for me and millions of others is don't use, don't pick up, don't use, no matter what happens. No matter what devastating thing come in your life, don't pick up. No matter how you loved your mother and she's not here no more, and you found her. Some people didn't even know their mother. I got some people that wish they had seen their mother. Some people's mother died while they was in the addiction. So, I learned that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what kid portray you, no matter how your kids talk to you, no matter how they don't seem to love you, you have to stand on truth. You have to love yourself. Remember, you can't chase peace. You have to become peace. You have to live in peace. And I'm telling you, and my house is peaceful. I am so peaceful right now. And it took me a long time to get there because I was carrying some issues from the wreckage of my past. And they would still come up to me, still act like they love me, but they really don't. Still act like they care about me, but they really don't. Still act like they forgave me, but they really didn't. So I was tired of carrying and I had to let go. So this ninth step has taught me how to make amends and guess what? And guess what? And stand on it. I done said my sorries. I done did my amends. I'm not going to let you keep taking me there. Because see, when you broken and then I'm trying to help fix me and stuck on you or y'all, then I become broken. Ain't no breaking me. I didn't come get clean. I didn't come into this life to stop using everything. And I mean everything to let you bring up some things in the record of my past. You gonna forgive me? You gonna forgive me. But see, the main person that matters, let me tell y'all a secret. The main person that matters, who forgive who, is you and me. That's what matters. God forgave me. So I ain't got to go back and look at him. He forgave me already. But I forgave me. You forgave you. You understand you made some mistake. You understand that we was recovering addicts. We understand that we are addicted to many things. And I can't hold it no more. And I thank God for a God of my understanding to come into my world and show up and show out and tell us and show you what to do in a circumstances, how to work a ninth step. Ninth step is to build you up, baby. I don't care what nobody say. Ninth step is a build up for me. That step is a deep step because it made us realize how long we had been carrying that weight. And all we had to do was talk with our sponsor and find a way to make amends to the people that hurt, even the living and the dead. You can make amends. I did, you did. God loves me, he loves you. God had favor for you, he had favor for me. He's no certain kind of God that only helps other people. He helps the sinners, he helps the ones that's got it right, he helps the ones that's trying to find their way, he helps the ones that struggling, that's still fighting alcohol addiction, drug addiction, all of them. He's still trying to help. He's still knocking. He knocking. Some of us just hard-headed like I was. We don't let him in. We won't let him in. Some of us just hard-headed. So just hard-headed. We just got to learn the hard way. So I thank y'all. I thank y'all. You know, I love y'all. I love my broadcasts. I love me getting on here. And you know, the best secret I can tell you is that when you find peace in your life, losing a parent, losing a child, you got to find that peace. Because if you don't, you'll hold on to something and you'll keep losing. So I thank God for you all, and I want to close. Can we close with the serenity prayer? You know, and that's what I'm going to do from now on when I get ready to close my broadcast. I want to close with the serenity prayer. And the serenity prayer is, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can. Check this out, y'all. And the wisdom to know the difference. That's our serenity prayer. And I hope I've helped in some kind of way that to enlighten how to work that ninth step. And you know, every time I do this ninth step, I bring something different. It's never the same. It might have the same, but I search my heart and I search the books and I look for different messages so you can better understand. This step is a build up. This step is a freedom to letting go. This step is to release the guilt, the shame, and all the other stuff that come with it. This step is an eye-opener. This step teaches you how to forgive. This step teaches you how to know that you are forgiven. You know, so I thank y'all so very much. And if ain't nobody told you that they love you, then you tell them that Renee Williams said that they love you. And we went out, and I thank God. And we are on step 10 for next Sunday, and it says we continue to take a personal inventory. And when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Step 10 is next week's step. And may God continue to bless you. And I thank y'all for being a friend to me. And I thank me for being a friend to y'all. God bless. Have a safe Sunday. I'll see y'all next week. I love you very much.